Hello, everyone. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what are the signs that might indicate your gut bacteria might actually be playing a large role in your stress and anxiety. So, yes, we got to deal with the mindset and making sure that is in the right place and environment. But if your digestive tract and your gut bacteria is not balanced, it's going to make it that much harder for you to adjust the mindset portion. So I want to know if you guys have heard or delved into gut bacteria, if you tried any probiotics. That's a big one that comes up. In the comments below, put in me so that I know where you're coming from. But let's just jump into it. I want to talk about why this gut bacteria is important. Okay, so in the past we've talked about how gut bacteria affects the digestive tract, okay, and in turn affects your mental health. But we want to know today, how do you know whether or not the gut bacteria is actually affecting you specifically? So when I say gut bacteria, what I'm talking about is that there are good bacteria and then there's bad bacteria. And ideally what we want is to make sure that there's a good amount of the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, or the ones that we don't want, aren't present. So when there's an imbalance of the good and bad bacteria, that's when we get trouble. So signs that your anxiety or stress is also affected by your gut bacteria include: one, any digestive symptoms, so mainly gas and bloating, because with the gut bacteria in your digestive tract, what happens is that when you eat, it's going to digest the food and break down the food, and as a byproduct it produces gas. And if you have the incorrect bacteria that shouldn't be there, it's going to cause a lot of gas and bloating that we don't want because it's not the right gases. But that's a main one that I would look out for. But it can also translate into loose stools or constipation. The second sign that you want to look out for is your immune system. So how is your immune system functioning? Because with your immune system, a huge part of it actually lies in your digestive tract, which, it's surprising. A huge portion of your immune system is actually living in your digestive tract, which means if there's an imbalance of good and bad bacteria, it's going to affect how your immune system performs. So this can look like getting sick really easily. It can look like getting sick, but recovering takes such a long time. Or three, a lot of allergies, okay, especially chronic allergies or really intense symptoms of allergies. These are all signs that your immune system is not functioning optimally. The last sign that I look out for is actually your history, so your medical history. So we're looking at whether there's chronic and heavy use of antibiotics in the past. And the reason for this is because with antibiotics, they're great at killing off bad bacteria that we don't want, that's making us sick. But the downside of it is that it also kills off the good bacteria. When the good bacteria is killed off and we're not replenishing it, what happens is that our good bacteria is low. This gives room for any opportunistic or bad bacteria to come in and just overtake the system. So these are the top 3 signs and symptoms that we want to look out for, because these are big clues that your digestive tract's bacteria is playing a role with your mental health. So let me know, is of these top 3, does 1 apply to you, 2, all 3? Type in the comments below 1, 2, or 3 to let me know how many of these factors play a role in your case. So now that we know what signs and symptoms to look out for, if any of these are being checked in your case, what can you actually do about it? So super easy. 1, we want to populate your digestive tract with the good bacteria. So we want to put in the good bacteria. How do we do that? We do that with fermented foods. fermented foods have naturally occurring good bacteria. So by eating them, we're just easily putting in good bacteria. So these foods include sauerkraut, kimchi, or any vegetables that have been pickled in salt and water. You can also use probiotic supplements. Okay, there are different forms of it, and different strains, but that's going to be, you want to work with a practitioner who can help tease that out for you and choose the right probiotic for you. The second thing that you want to make sure you're doing, because you don't just want to put in the good bacteria, so that's just one step. The second step that you need to make sure you're doing is feeding that good bacteria. Once you put the good bacteria in, you want to make sure they stay alive. So by doing, how you can make sure they stay alive is by giving them the food that they need. And the food that the good bacteria need is fiber, lots and lots of soluble fiber. So what types of foods would this look like? This is going to look like a lot of your, yes, dark leafy greens, but it's going to also include artichoke, your lima beans. It's going to include chickpeas, red kidney beans, even chia seeds. Lots of options, but you want to make sure that you are including those, not just putting good bacteria in, because that's just one of two steps. First step, putting in the good bacteria, and two, you want to make sure they stay alive. So that's really all there is to it. So if any of this has been helpful, let me know. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I hope you are out there living life the way you want to, and I'll see you guys next week.